Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from January 24th until January 31st. We have a lot going on right now, a lot of big energies underway, and a very active week ahead. Now, before I dive into the astrological transits that are unfolding, I wanted to give you a few updates here on some other energies that have ramped up. Now, the sun has been very active as of January 22nd. And I find this so fascinating because we just had both the sun and Pluto move in to Aquarius together, followed by the human design rave New Year, which occurs every year on January 22nd. And then we have the sun really being active in a whole new way. The sun has had numerous solar flares and CMEs that have erupted in a short amount of time. And there has now been a hyperactive sunspot that has formed on the sun where more than a dozen M-class eruptions have occurred in a day and a half. That's a lot. That's why it's being called hyperactive. It's also a place on the sun that there didn't exist any of this energy previously, at least not to this extent. So the sun is coming alive in new ways, activating new spots on its surface, and many of these energies are going to be working with our atmosphere. So we will feel these energies because they are earth-facing, and because they will come into our atmosphere January 24th, 25th, and 26th, which can impact radio frequencies and create blackout experiences. This is, of course, energy that we are feeling energetically at a personal level as well as at a collective level. And to see that the earth is receiving so much of this new neutrino energy, these new light codes, this new infusion of energy from the sun is also affecting our consciousness and accelerating the energies on this planet. So just consider that a very hyperactive sunspot has formed rapidly and is taking up a lot of space on the sun. That's how quickly energies are shifting and changing. And we could relate that energetically to our own experiences right now. So in addition to having a hyperactive sun, we have had the sun and Pluto enter Aquarius. We have the beginning of the human design New Year, which was on January 22nd. And all of this together signals powerful beginnings, powerful new starts, an influx of activating energies that you could be feeling. Yet at the same time, you could be feeling a deep purge of energies, of emotions, of things that you've been holding or moving through. Because in order for this new cycle to commence, there's energies that we still are cleansing out and purging. And keep in mind that whatever has been coming up for you, especially over the last week, you could even say for the month of January, it's not over yet, because the energies are going to come back around through another wave later this year. And that's because Pluto will go back into Capricorn September 1st. Will re-enter Capricorn, hang out at 29 degrees, and then move fully into Aquarius November 19th and 20th. So think about the month of January highlighting for you something you're still going to be moving through as the year unfolds. And it is occurring through waves of energy, waves of intensity. This is also waves of activation to move you forward and to clear out anything that you're not meant to take forward at this time. And so this is deep purging work, and that's what Pluto requires. We go into our own deeper energy signature. We go into our shadow. We go into our fears. We go into things that we haven't wanted to look at. We dive into energies that we've been traveling with across lifetimes, and we get deeper into the cause, the choices, the consequences, and the unfinished karma, as well as have the opportunity to work through it. So you could feel that something has triggered a dark night of the soul. You could feel that something has brought up a theme or an energy or a cycle that you thought you were done with, and it's caught you off guard. So this is an energy of a very deep cleanse. And because it is so intense, it will be showing up for us again in the second half of the year. So just a heads up that can help with at least alleviating extreme pressure on yourself of having to make it better or correct it right away. There could be something here too that you just can't rush the river. You can't force it to happen. There is a deeper healing or a deeper wisdom that you're digging into. And that is something that Pluto promises as well, is that you find the gold, you understand the beautiful message or what you've been learning, healing, whatever it might be. So just to keep it in your awareness that whatever has come up for you the past week and this month, it's not over yet. But rest assured, by the time you meet up with it again in the second half of this year, you're probably going to be a different version of yourself because Pluto is now in Aquarius and requiring us to transform into new parts of our authentic self. So with Pluto in Aquarius now, there is an important thing to consider, which is what part of your story are you ready to change? What part of your energy are you ready to activate and step into even more? How are you ready to embrace more of your power and your individual frequency in a way you've never, ever done, especially in this lifetime? All of that is supported right now. All of that is powerfully activated. So I also want to mention that we have a few layers of this Pluto energy working with us. And it's not only through the astrology, but it does sync up with what is unfolding in human design. Now, for those who have not heard of human design combines both ancient and modern energy systems to create a very specific understanding of your energy. And they call it the science of differentiation, the science of knowing and understanding how you are uniquely you. And human design brings in different energy sciences to create this practice, this system. It incorporates Western zodiac astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, hexagram, and chakras. And when you have your human design chart done, it's based on your birth time, birth location, birth date, just like astrology. And then it gives you an understanding of your energy in a more specific way. And the human design world is quite fascinating. It has definitely grown in popularity in the past number of years. I first came about it in 2014, and I've been practicing it actively for about 8 years now. And I would invite you to check it out if you're interested. But understanding human design adds another lovely layer to the energies we're moving through and how you are designed to show up in your authentic nature. And so at this time in human design, there is the Rave New Year. It's called the Rave New Year every January 22nd when the sun enters the 41st gate, which is about new beginnings. And so not only is the sun entering this new start in human design, but we're also approaching a significant energy shift in 2027 in the human design world, where the energy is going to change from a previous 411-year cycle to a new 411-year cycle that begins in 2027. It's a major global shift, and they call it the background frequency of the planet. And this energy shift is already on the approach. And in fact, we're going to get insight into these energies coming up this year. So in human design, the energies are changing after a 400-year cycle, and we are getting some insights into what that looks like now. So it's really cool how these cycles are syncing up with the astrology, and they're signaling that humanity is moving in a new direction. We are evolving, and it's happening rapidly. It's happening through chaos and liberation. It's happening through so many parts of our energy that we don't fully understand, but it's how we're moving into these higher frequencies, ready or not. So all of this energy is happening right now. It is a big time on the planet. It is a big time in the world. And perhaps you're feeling this at multiple levels of your being, and it's hard to understand why, but that's because you're picking up on these powerful frequency shifts. Over this next week, we're going to have more of them, and we're going to see them occur in our physical world. There is energy now coming up that is supporting a part of our physical transformation. And what I'm getting here is I'm seeing a visual of the spine, the backbone, the energy that is designed to support us, to stand on our own, to stand up straight, to keep our head held high. I'm seeing the energy here of the spine that has had to be very strong, perhaps hold its own, perhaps really strengthen up some muscles, even in the lower back, upper back. This energy relates to Capricorn, and it relates to the Pluto in Capricorn energies we've had since 2008. And what I'm seeing is that it's time to stretch and loosen up the spine. It's time to allow energy to move in and move out of the spine that maybe has sustained you. Something where you've had to stand on your own or do something significant that your body was maybe bracing, like just holding an intense energy in order to deal with the storms or the turbulence. You had to steady yourself. You had to dig in deep to get to new levels of personal power and confidence. And I'm seeing this energy go right down into the psoas muscle. If you need to see a visual of the psoas muscle, you can certainly Google it. It's spelled P-S-O-A-S. It is sometimes referred to as the seat of the soul. It's a very powerful muscle that provides stability. And what I'm seeing energetically is that it's been holding a lot. It's been required to stabilize parts of our energy field that we can feel disconnected from. So I'm seeing the energy running through the spine into the psoas muscle, and this is the energy that needs to stretch. It's those deep, soft stretching exercises that can open it up, relieve any tension, tightness, or pain, and get the energy moving. It feels like there's things that now we can let go of, and that your body might be signaling to you that it needs that stretching or that movement. So of course, trust if this resonates for you or not, but I'm feeling like our bodies have really had to hold a lot. And there's something here about honoring the self-care in letting it go, letting it be complete, allowing something to move out of your physical self so that it's no longer captive, it's no longer tight, it's no longer preventing you from new movement and new growth. And I'm even seeing a visualization of stretching the spine. Anything that stretches the spine and elongate it could feel like it's also supporting the energy movement at this time. And the reason why this seems to be coming up is because we do have 3 planets in Capricorn right now. Again, Capricorn is connected to your backbone, your teeth, your physical structure that compose your body and its frame. And there's something here about wanting it to move, wanting the energy to continue to be released and to not hold what you've outgrown. Mars in Capricorn is activating this energy and is bringing to your awareness more of what your body consciousness needs. And this Mars in Capricorn is going to be squaring Chiron in Aries at 15 degrees on January 25th. Now, this is an interesting square because Chiron in Aries is about unlocking new sources of courage and new parts of our self-identity through a vulnerability process, through something that can bring up our insecurities and our doubts and even our tears and require us to know that this is still something we can heal and move through. When Mars squares it, Mars is in a closing square here to this Chiron in Aries, and Mars is the ruler of Aries. And so this Mars in Capricorn could be applying a pressure to something you've already been struggling to strengthen and is wanting you to take charge of it, to take charge of it in a new way, to see yourself as more commanding, as more of an authority, and to have a new understanding of what your body is capable of. Now, this Mars squaring Chiron could also trigger a re-injury. because it could feel like you're being forced to do something, or there's discomfort around a sore spot or a vulnerability, and something could get triggered again. But the higher awareness is looking at how far you've come. Look at how far you have come in healing something that is going to actually support you in moving forward, especially in the next few weeks, because that Chiron in Aries is approaching an exact conjunction with the North Node in Aries that will be occurring in February. I'll have a separate podcast episode for you on that, because it is the signal of a new start and a new beginning based on what you've been healing. Now, the same day that Mars squares Chiron, we also have the Leo full moon. This is occurring January 25th at 12:53 p.m. That's Eastern time. And this is a full moon with a lot of built-in tension, creativity, pressure. There is an all or nothing quality to this Leo full moon, as that full moon is opposing the Sun and Pluto in Aquarius, and both are squaring Jupiter in Taurus. So this activates a feeling of all or nothing. This can amplify an intense pressure. This could be something happening within you that maybe even has you frozen or paralyzed if the energy is so intense. How I'm feeling this energy, though, is that our Leo core is receiving new incoming frequencies from those Aquarius planets to further love, strengthen, and own more of who we are at a unique level. So it's almost like we're getting these downloads of more parts of ourselves that we haven't met before. And that can be really uncomfortable, because the Leo energy wants to self-identify with, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is how I'm powerful. This is how I'm strong. And there could be things here that are stretching you out of what you thought or what you perceived around your own self-knowingness, your own creative power. I also feel like this full moon is going to shine a light on more of where you're going next, on an opening, on a possibility, give you some insight into what you can create next in your world. I do have a separate video for you on YouTube that goes through this full chart even more. So I'm not going to focus too much on it in this podcast, but it's a very intense Leo full moon. It's a pressure cooker, and you could be feeling that. Like you've got to do something, or there's a lot happening, and what do you do with all the energy? And of course, being intentional and conscious makes a huge difference. And then right after this Leo full moon, we have a powerful activation with Uranus stationing direct. And that occurs at 2:35 a.m. on Saturday, January 27th. That's Eastern time. So for some people, that would be on the evening of Friday, January 26th. And this station direct with Uranus is significant for a few reasons. Once Uranus is direct, all planets are direct. And they're all direct until April 1st, when we have our next Mercury retrograde. Uranus stationing direct is also important because it is the modern day ruler of Aquarius. And we just had Pluto enter Aquarius, and now Uranus comes alive in a whole new way. Uranus is going to be pulsing at a new frequency. Uranus is in control of new areas of growth and evolution. And Uranus is the wild card, the oddball, the blind spot of brilliance. Uranus wants something to come from all the chaos and wants there to be something useful, intelligent, exciting, and even breathtaking that unfolds. So we have a lot of electricity in the air, you could say. We have a lot pulsing through us. Our nervous systems are feeling that, right? Are you feeling a sense of, wow, there's a lot going on. I need to steady myself. I need to calm myself. I need a break. And then you could feel like you're ready to go, almost like there's just so much happening that you've got to move the energy. It's excitable, it's motivating, and you don't want to sit still. We are learning to adjust with these accelerating frequencies. We are learning how to manage our own energy systems and what self-care looks like now. What is important for you to practice in order for you to sleep, in order for you to rest, and to trust that you are ready for whatever your own personal breakthroughs are. And I think that is a big part of this week, is that there are breakthroughs. There are things pushing through. And if you're trying to resist it, it's sort of like building up a dam. Like, let me just build it higher and higher because it all seems too much. But the energy will burst through the dam and it will come rolling through, because this is a very big season of change. This is a very big season of change at a soul level, And there's things here that are not going to go back to how they previously were. And we're meant to be moving forward, trusting that there are new solutions and new ways of adapting. I'm also feeling this as exciting breakthroughs into what's next for you. And you could be feeling that too. Like, wow, I'm getting these downloads or these messages or some things coming up that feel really true, that feel like they're in alignment with who I am. And it could catch you off guard because it might be something that you never thought would be possible. It could even happen so rapidly that you're like, wow, that just came from left field, but here it is front and center. And that is something too that will depend on your energy, how you adapt to rapid change, how you adapt to your own growth trajectory, because the universe is requiring us to move into that energy, to open up to that. And anywhere that we are resisting or digging in our heels or even pushing things away, that isn't going to last for very long. And in fact, there's a part of your soul that knows that absolutely knows that you're ready. It could be that you just need more processing time, more time to think it through, to dig in, to trust the process, and then you'll be ready. But this is happening for all of us as we move into these new experiences that are right on time at a universal level. Now, we are going to have Mercury in Capricorn squaring Chiron in Aries at 15 degrees. This happens on January 26th. And this could be a time to hold back any important conversations. This would not be the time to discuss something that is important or crucial because it could hurt feelings. It could have disappointment involved. Keep that in mind if you are on the receiving end of any kind of decision making or anything that's been going around. Mercury squaring Chiron can be something that's a letdown. And you just have to accept it as is, right? And then find the next way to move ahead. Then that Mercury is going to be conjunct Mars at 16 degrees of Capricorn, January 27th. And this is the energy of putting something into form that you want to accomplish. And this could help with goal setting, with what you are working towards or accomplishing, even gaining clarity on what's the plan, what's the process, how are we going to make this real. So this could be a day as well when communications are ramped up, because that Mars energy with Mercury adds in more ambition, but also it can be argumentative and territorial. We're doing it my way or the highway. Could be one way that Mercury conjunct Mars and Capricorn shows up. It doesn't want to compromise and it's really not interested in other perspectives or other opinions. So on the one hand, this could be great for anything you need to decide or get into motion, but keep in mind that that energy is strong and people might not want to listen and they might not be open to feedback. Also at the same time, we're going to see Venus, who is now in Capricorn as well, sextile Saturn in Pisces at 5 degrees on January 27th. This is a lovely combination because Venus in Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So here we have Saturn making a lovely connection to Venus and giving her some form of spiritual validation for what she is accomplishing and what she is doing. Venus in Capricorn is elegant and dignified. This is the ability to retract your energy and observe what's going on. Venus in Capricorn has patience. She will wait. She wants quality. She wants something that is worth her energy and worth her time. So there is a lovely patience in this energy. And with Venus connecting with the Saturn, it could be that something you've been waiting for shows up through divine timing. It could be a reassuring message, something that comes through that validates what you want and supports it. So again, that's January 27th. And then January 28th and January 29th, all three personal planets in Capricorn make a trine to planets in Taurus. So let's break this down. January 28th, Mercury in Capricorn trines Uranus in Taurus at 19 degrees. The same day that Venus in Capricorn trines Jupiter in Taurus at 7 degrees. Then Mars in Capricorn trines Uranus in Taurus at 19 degrees. So in your chart, you are identifying where you have Capricorn energies at 7 degrees and 19 degrees, and where you have Taurus energies at 7 degrees, 19 degrees. These are beautiful connections, prosperous developments. Something gets energy and moves ahead. It's wonderful for anything you've been waiting on. If you've been waiting on news or waiting on a decision, this is where things connect and they move forward. This is where there are beneficial developments and support. Resources come in, resources show up, especially with the planets in Taurus, and they connect to a plan, a goal, something you want. This is wonderful business energy. This is wonderful potentially for finances, for things that you own, what you want to create and build. This is great energy for where you're going next, what is supportive, what you want to put energy to. So January 27th, 28th, and 29th, things are happening. Things are rolling, especially if you have planets or points around these degree points in Capricorn and Taurus, because it's going to support you more effortlessly. It's also great energy for planets in Virgo. So if you have planets or points around 7 degrees of Virgo or 19 degrees of Virgo, you are going to have an Earth grand trine, and it's going to bring something together. Something is going to be formed. It's going to be tangible and real, and it's going to be a lovely energy of flow and openings and possibilities. This energy is also beautifully supportive for the water signs. So if you have planets or points at 7 or 19 degrees of Cancer or Pisces, this is going to help you put those inspirations into something, allow you to transmute them and bring them into some kind of tangible reality, make them realistic. This energy can also help those planets or points at 7 or 19 degrees of Scorpio. So keep in mind, this is going to be an energy of manifesting in the physical world, of looking at what shows up that is just an easy yes. It has a synchronicity to it. It has a sense of flow and ease. It just comes together and connects. And again, you could feel like you've been waiting on something, and then all of a sudden it's here. All of a sudden it's happening. All of a sudden the plan has formed. It's real. And now you're moving in that direction. Because this is happening in the earth signs are also about boundaries and limitations. And so you could have a sense of, oh, that's too much, but I can handle this. I can take care of this. This is what I can commit to, and this is what I can get done. So know that this also is an energy of understanding what is suitable for you, what is realistic for you, and that's what's going to feel easy. It's going to be grounded and clear, and hopefully not overwhelming, not too much, but just like the doors are opening and life could feel fuller, that things have gotten busier and that there's more going on and unfolding. The end of the month also coincides with the energies of change that have been streaming in and streaming through. And it could seem like things haven't shifted and then all of a sudden they change. All of a sudden something in your everyday reality or your physical experiences has moved into representing the change you've been feeling. And I'm seeing too that we could feel like we're straddling timelines, that we're moving back and forth between different experiences of our own energy, but you could feel like you're more invested in the future timeline, what we would call the future timeline, that is actually representing more of what you've cleared, what you've healed, what you've moved through, and how you've actualized more of your energy. And then it could feel like you're being pulled back into situations or experiences that you're still finishing up, you're still winding down and clearing out. So it's an interesting year of dancing between these timelines, moving between different parts of your reality. And you could even feel that you've detached from a previous version of yourself, a previous level of consciousness. You've detached from something that was a huge part of your growth, of your karma, of your experiences, and that it isn't even directly in your energy field anymore. It's like over there off to the side. It's something that you can see and observe in a new way, but it isn't front and center. Almost like it's been pulled out, like pulled out of your energy field, pulled out of your aura, and you have a more detached perspective of what that was and what you were learning. Now, another thing to be aware of as we move through the final week of January and into February is that we have the nodes of fate moving through Aries and Libra. The North Node is in Aries, the South Node is in Libra, and we're going to have all three personal planets squaring the nodes of fate. So we're going to have Mars, Mercury, and Venus in Capricorn, each squaring this nodal axis. Mercury and Mars will be squaring the end of January 28th and 29th, and then Venus will square the nodal axis February 6th, February 7th. And what this is triggering is what is out of balance in relationship dynamics in your life and in yourself, where something has maybe not been clear to you around what is out of balance. And here come these planets in Capricorn that want you to look at them from a detached perspective, to take ownership of your role, of your energy, to understand how the North Node in Aries wants you to grow into more of your true essence, your true potential, and knowing who you are at this time. And that means with the South Node in Libra to leave behind anything you've overcompensated to keep the peace, any ways you have abandoned yourself to keep a relationship going, anything where you haven't been able to effectively communicate, and also looking at the themes of reciprocity, equal giving and receiving. Is this relationship connected to something important to both of us, to shared values, or is this something that is just for show? Because the Libra energy can be very aware of how things come across, how it's viewed by others, how it's seen, especially in, say, social settings or in a public perspective. So what we have here are these three planets squaring the nodes of fate. And you could have some realizations around relationship dynamics, who you are, who you truly are, what you really want, what you're truly about at this time in your life, and then what needs to be discussed, communicated, and worked through with another person. So if you're in a relationship right now, and perhaps it's even a friendship or with a family member or someone that means a lot to you, but things aren't working, this is going to be a time of looking at how to approach those conversations and those topics in a respectable way, with a sense of personal ownership over your role, your needs, and also to assess what's working, what's not working. And that's usually the Capricorn lens is, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. This isn't proving to be functional, or something isn't what I want it to be. Let's talk it through. And this is going to apply a pressure to relationships. And actually that pressure started back with the Capricorn new moon on January 11th, because that new moon was squaring the nodes of fate as well. So this could bring up some deeper soul realizations, because what I'm seeing here, and again, only trust if it fits for you, is that there could be some relationship dynamics where one person has been more in the masculine role and the other person has always been in the feminine role. And there could be an imbalance in not only the relationship, but within oneself, where if you've mostly been in feminine energies throughout many of your incarnations, then maybe you're learning what it means to step into the masculine, or what that even looks like for you, what that means, or how that presents itself in a way that's suitable for your energy and suitable for your life now. But you could realize, wow, I think I've had way too many lifetimes in feminine energies and it hasn't been balanced. It hasn't been properly balanced. And then the reverse can be true too, where maybe you realize, wow, I've had a lot of lifetimes in masculine roles, and therefore I'm more comfortable in those masculine expressions or in those masculine energies, and you're having to balance it with more feminine energies that could be uncomfortable, that could be outside of a comfort zone. And then here come these planets in Capricorn wanting you to realistically assess this and take responsibility, take ownership, take accountability of where that energy maybe has been overly expressed or underexpressed, and what has transpired because of it. That's part of the balancing act here for the nodal axis at this time, where there's things that have played out in your life and maybe you weren't sure why, or what the cause was, or what was going on. Of course, there's many reasons. There's many unlimited reasons why things can unfold as they do. But there's something about looking at your own relationship patterns across multiple lifetimes to understand what is coming up for you now to be responsible around in a new way, and with the intention of allowing yourself to grow into more of the fullness of who you are and what your soul can experience in this lifetime. If you have planets or points in Aries or Libra, this is an especially big time for you with these nodes of fate moving through your signs. So please check out my course that goes through the significance of this 19-year cycle. What's coming up for you that you want to be aware of, the timing of it all, why it matters, and what you are seeing in a new light, in a new way that is right on time. You know, the nodes are the nodes of fate. So there are fated developments. There are things that are destined for you that have your name on it. And it's important to know what these cycles are so that your consciousness is open to them when they appear. So do check out my course on the nodes of fate. I'll put the link below, because you want to be aware of what's coming up in your astrology chart and to know what is right on time for you. Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned human design and why it's important, why it's significant. And I wanted to let you know that I have opened up my business development retreat that is based on your astrology and human design chart energies, that is about how you're here to be successful in the world, how you are here to shine your success frequency, what that means for you, how it's different for you, and how it's a way for you to tap into what is energetically correct for you, especially as you build your business, you develop your expertise, and you share your energy with the world. So this business development retreat is happening at the Art of Living Retreat Center in Boone, North Carolina, May 16th to May 19th. It is a 4-day experience where I will be discussing not only the business parts of your chart and your energy, but my co-presenter, Rob Thomas, will be sharing with you more about your human design energy signature and how to be energetically correct in what you are building. We are covering a lot of content over 4 days. And you will be referencing your astrology chart and your human design chart. But I am digging into the nitty-gritty of business. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of certain business models. We're going to talk about sales and marketing, what is effective, what you need to know, especially right now, because what works now is different than what worked 4 years ago, 7 years ago. We're going to be discussing your CEO archetype and 6 types of risk-taking that are required and how to manage each one. I'm going to talk to you about the 3 types of audiences you're speaking to, as well as identifying 3 types of goals and their timelines. I'm going to share with you one of the most important things to be successful for sales, and so much more, so much more. So this is more of a business-focused program that brings in your astrology and your human design charts. I will put the link below this podcast if you want to check it out. Please note there will not be a live stream. There won't be a live stream. It's a live in-person experience, but we are going to have it in an online video format later. So if you can't make it there, or if it sells out, which it's going to do because it's halfway sold out, when it sells out, you'll still be able to access the information later on this year, because it's very important information and we want people to be set up for success based on who you are and your energy, not based on trying to fit in to what everyone is teaching you or telling you to do. That creates overwhelm. So we're turning it on its head and we're saying, no, start with your energy. Start with your energy and then pull in what fits. Bring in what is correct for you and let everything else go. Don't feel like you have to do it all or you have to copy or follow what someone else is doing. That's not how we do things anymore. That's the old paradigm. The new paradigm is understanding that you're designed to be successful and your most important responsibility is to understand how. And we're going to open all that up to you and so much more. I love this topic. I've been doing this myself for years. This is how I've built my business. I had to trust myself and do things differently. And that's a big key here, is that you're going to learn to trust yourself and how you're here to do things differently. And that is your pathway. That is your true success frequency that nobody else can duplicate or replicate, and no one can take away from you, unless you allow them to. So there's a lot of ownership here. There's a lot of power and empowerment that we are being required to step up into because it's waiting for us. It's waiting for us. So I hope you can join us. You'll find all the details on the website landing page. Again, I'll have the link below the podcast episode here, or you can find it on my website at mollymccord.online underneath the events tab, So be sure to check out as well the Leo full moon energies to see where that is coming up in your chart, what's being activated, and how you are being pushed forward into new energetic paradigms at this time. As always, thank you so much for joining me here today. I look forward to connecting with you again soon, as I'll have another podcast episode for you every Monday and Wednesday. Wishing you a beautiful week ahead as we work with more of these high vibrating energies and frequencies, and hoping that you're continuing to evolve into even more of your beautiful, authentic self. Take good care, and I'll see you back here soon.